You ever spend a lot of time on something and then just realized, like, I don't know, later that it was just a giant waste of time and you could have just figured it out by doing it?
Yes.
Well, that's pretty much our entire lives.
Yeah. This just happened to me 2 days ago too.
If you have that sickness, maybe you're like us and you have that sickness. Maybe you're not and you can help us solve this problem. That's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to the Let's Quit podcast.
Quitting is not always a bad thing.
If you have the right mindset, quitting can be the most powerful tool you have on your journey to success. It's certainly been helpful for us.
Whether it's flying through hurricanes, building our businesses, or just trying to get to bed on time, we're always trying to level up and improve our lives.
This is the show where we share the lessons, experiences, and friends that have helped us live this incredible life. So let's quit the bad and grow the good together. All right, we'd like to thank all of our new listeners. Hey, if you're new to the show, thanks so much for listening. I hope that we've earned a second download. You know, everybody, when you're trying out podcast, I don't know, if you're like me, you try out a podcast, you just listen to one episode, and I don't know, it takes a lot to get me to hit that subscribe button. So if you're one of those that has hit the subscribe button and you get notified and you automatically download the show every morning or every week, thank you.
Yes,
it means
we
a lot.
Appreciate you.
With that being said, weekly update. What do we got going on?
Okay. I feel like we had a lot go on this week, but first off, I would say our shipping situation with our boxes.
Well, that was our YouTube video that got posted this week.
Yeah. So if any of you, if you guys have watched the YouTube video, you already know. But we basically had a situation where one of our boards that we sent out to...
Two of our boards.
Two of them, actually. We sent one to a realtor and one to a client. They got returned to sender. Not because we had the wrong address. We think that the people sent them back because they didn't recognize who it was from, even though it had literally their name and their own address on it. Anyways, and so these boxes got sent back and forth in the mail 4 times, and they were destroyed. The boxes looked horrible. The corners were blown out. There was cracks and punctures all over in the boxes. And we know that not all boxes end up looking that bad because people will share the unboxing experience on Instagram and take video of it. And none of the boxes ever looked that rough. So we know it's because they got sent through the mail multiple times.
Yeah, but even still, we know that those boxes just get destroyed by the Postal Service.
Yep.
And well, I'm blaming them, but it's all shipping carriers. They
it's
all
just
do
life.
that. So anyway, we just didn't expect it to look that bad when we got a box back.
So then, of course, we were interested. We're well, did it screw up the boards? Did it do anything, any dents, scratches, whatever? And so we opened up the first box and the board was fine. And so we're hey, maybe we don't even have a problem here. Maybe we don't even have a problem at all to solve. Maybe they'll be fine. And we opened up the second box. And the second box, the board had a dinged up corner.
Yeah, we couldn't just send that board back out. We had to make a new board and replace it. So in order to keep that from happening again, because... And this is what we determined in the video. I mean, we kind of played it up a little bit for YouTube, but you can't solve all the problems with return to sender stuff. We're just going to have to protect the boards a little better. And then when return to sender stuff happens, we're just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, but because boxes are going to get returned to sender. We can't just
But at least we're not
stop.
wasting a board because it got returned.
Right.
So.
And I'd rather figure out a solution that's going to make my boards look better. Because if they're, a luxury, high quality, high end.
Oh, yeah.
Product,
well, now we're adding more value because the boxes are going to look crisp and clean when we finish packaging them. So.
Yeah. So long story short, we put another box outside our nice boxes. And so we bought, how many did we buy? Did we buy 250?
We bought 250, which I didn't think they were going to be that much because with our custom printed boxes, they come all flat packed in other cardboard boxes. I wasn't thinking that now we're buying a real corrugated cardboard box.
Yeah.
For shipping.
Usually we can just pick the other boxes up at the post office and drive them home.
Right, but our custom printed mailer boxes are about a third of the thickness of these normal shipping boxes. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I just was not expecting a pallet to show up, and I just wake up at 7:30 in the morning, somebody banging on the door. There's some contracted delivery service, and the guy's standing there he's got the little signature pad. He's like, "Hey, can you sign for these?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I'm wiping the sleep out of my eyes. And he's like, "Is where we got him fine?" And I look, and there's this just pallet of cardboard boxes just chilling on the sidewalk in front of the house. And I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's great. Thanks. Have a good one."
And I'm on the phone back in the office, and then I hang up, and Dave's like, "Hey, you got to come help me with something quick." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "We have an entire pallet of boxes on the sidewalk right now. We got to move it."
Yeah, so we had to find space for that in the house, which we have outgrown the house.
Yeah, that's
We're done.
beneficial for a couple of months already.
Yeah.
But So now we're trying to, like, we found spots of where to stick these 250 more. But we basically had to figure out how to stick an entire pallet load of stuff in the house.
Oh, and that same day, our new planer got delivered.
Yes.
So we got this big, it's our first, like, giant industrial piece of equipment.
It is a 20-inch
planer, which if you don't know, like when you're woodworking, when you glue up a panel of like different boards to make one big wide board, you need to like cut that flat so it's nice and smooth, like a tabletop or something like that. Well, a planer is the machine that you can run those boards through, and basically what it does is it skims the top layer of the wood off. So if the boards are uneven or if there's glue squeeze out or whatever, like the knives will cut all that off and you're left with perfectly smooth wood. If you've ever seen like a restaurant tabletop or something like that, that's how they get it all nice and smooth. And so we got this giant industrial 5 horsepower electric. I had to be careful because like electricity, there's different types of electricity. You can get it straight off the power line, which is called 3-phase, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know, I'm probably butchering all this,
something
but like
that.
Straight off the power line, some tools will run off of that type of electricity, and that is not what your house is set up to take. And so we had to make sure that our new piece of equipment could be run on single phase power. Otherwise, we'd just have this massive piece of equipment in the garage that we couldn't use. So anyway, we had to very unsafely, with my dad's help, my parents visited this weekend, and my dad helped us get 2 car jacks, 2 rolling floor jacks, like to jack up a car. And we did this like thing with like Lincoln logs of like 2x6s so that we
like
could like
hold it up, and then
jack
I pulled
it up
the pallet.
off the pallet, and then Jennie could like pull a pallet out and then put the mobile base under while it was suspended in midair. I just knew it was something bad was going to happen. But
anyways, we got it all figured out, but that thing was like almost 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, it was like 800 pounds or something crazy. Yeah. It's nice now. It's on wheels. We won't ever have to do that again.
And now it's super nice. Like it gets
so
the boards
nice.
So flat.
We don't
and
even
perfect.
have to. We don't even have to drum sand anymore.
Nope.
So you woodworkers listening, you'll know what I mean. Like it's so smooth off the tool now with no tear out, no chip out. We don't even need to drum sand anymore, which is going to save us time when we have to hand sand them because we don't have to go through the grits to get the drum sanding lines out of it. So
right, we're just going right to orbital sanding, and it's so much faster. So we got a bigger piece of equipment, and now we can completely eliminate a step of our process.
But we have max performed this house. This house is at its capacity. Like we may be able to make 1 or 2 more adjustments to the process, but I'm pretty sure this house is as optimized as it can be now.
Yeah.
We need to move into a commercial space, and this week we've been like mulling that over and like going over numbers and trying to figure out how in the world we're going to get into a commercial space while dealing with hurricane season. So the problem is not money. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like hijack this, but this is what's going on in our lives. Fine. It's what you signed up for. This is the podcast.
Yes, you hit download, you hit play. Here you go.
So we're trying to move into a commercial space. We got 2 businesses. We got our multimedia business, which is what you're listening to now. We produce content, and we also have another business, which is the woodworking business. They are both run out of our house, and I feel like we're slowly approaching a new level of insanity that I didn't think that we could go to.
Yeah.
And the problem with moving into a commercial space right now is not money. Like money is not the issue. We've got plenty of money. It's I don't want to pay rent for the first 3 months when we're not going to be there.
Yeah, because we're gone flying hurricanes.
We're approaching hurricane season. We're flying a lot more with our reserve unit, and we're just not going to be here. And it's too early for us to hire employees because we got to be there to train them and get them up to speed with our checklists and processes. So
that'd be another thing. We'd be hiring employees and then paying them to do nothing because we were gone.
Eric isn't back yet. He's gone for the summer, and he'll be back in the fall. But again, I don't want to pay 3 months of rent for a commercial space. This just
we'll be
unwise.
in and out of.
We say all the time, focus on money in, not money out. But like 3 months of commercial space rent is pretty stupid to just throw into the wind.
And it's not even that. It's not so much like the money in versus money out, but it's like it's practicality. We won't be able to use it. Like we'll have this nice commercial space and we'll still have to work out of our shop because we don't have time to fully move over there. And it's a safety thing too. Like people won't be stopping by to check on it or.
Right, because as soon as we move into commercial space, our address is going to be public now. Right now, the address everybody can find online is just our P.O. box.
Yeah.
But right now...
We ain't advertising our real address.
Right, I don't want to either, but as soon as that's public, somebody's going to be banging on the door.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I like your YouTube channel. Can I come say hi?
Do you have no boundaries? Yeah.
I love it. I appreciate it. I love having people that support us 100%.
Absolutely.
Like, that's not a knock on them, but like... There's something about when you don't make content, I used to do this too. So like full disclosure, I used to be one of these guys. You don't realize how many people are trying to take up the time of, so I understand this first world problems, but you don't understand how many people are trying to get just 30 seconds of your time. Oh, I just want to stop by the shop and say, hey, oh, I just want to buy you dinner. And like, it feels so guilty. Like we're just processing this, but like we feel so guilty because we have to say no to those things, because if we said yes, we'd have to say yes to all of them.
Everybody's.
And then we wouldn't get anything done because we'd be going out to lunch with everybody. I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Yeah. There's part of it where it's like you feel really bad because there's people you really like and you so badly want to say yes. And then there's like the 0.01% of all the people who are like banging on your door at, once your address is public and like just...
And this is not new. Plenty of YouTubers have had their house broken into. Yeah. Like, this is not a new thing. This has been around for a while. It's just we have to be buttholes at the beginning.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
you have to be smart about
it's going to get away from us. So, knowing all of that, like, we're not going to have employees there that can, weed those people out. So, we don't want to get the commercial space broken into. We don't want to, like, I don't know. It's just,
it's a lot of moving parts. There's
a lot of moving parts right now. And we want to be in a commercial space. We need to be in a commercial space. We have the money to be in a commercial space, but just not yet.
The timing is... I don't know. I don't want to throw that up because that's such a flimsy excuse, because people say, well, the timing's never going to be right. And I 100% agree. I feel like...
it's especially not right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, first world problems.
Anyways, welcome to our real-time processing with Jennie and Davis.
Sorry. I didn't mean to unload here, but again, you signed up for this. This is the podcast.
So that's part of our weekly update. That's actually like a good chunk of what we've been talking about in doing this week, is really analyzing the reality of commercial spaces and when.
Right, because we're out of cutting boards.
Right.
Like, we ran out of cutting. We've got like 3 right now that we could mail out if we needed to, but like we're out. And we just weren't expecting to be out. We thought that we could, I don't know, sustain it a little bit longer, but we got distracted and I didn't make cutting boards fast enough. And now we're here.
But this next batch on the bright side is going to make 75 boards or something like that.
Oh yeah, our new process. So with the new planer and the new bandsaw blades and everything, we can make almost double the boards out of the same amount of wood that we used to. So 200 board feet of 8-quarter lumber now produces 75 boards instead of the previous 45 or 50. So it's going to be really nice.
So bringing the price down per board also.
A little bit. Yeah. We also did calculations
not much, but
for
a little bit.
Paying employees, because we realize now also when we start doing this at scale with employees, you really need a team of 3 people shepherding these cutting boards from start to finish.
Yeah.
Because you need 2 people, one on the infeed side of a tool, one on the outfeed side of the tool, and then you need a third person there to throw away the bad pieces of wood.
Yeah, or analyze it. Say, hey, is this does this need epoxy? Is this even, is this strip even worth keeping? Is there a huge knot?
We've got about 20 boards sitting on the shelf out there in the garage that have some sort of defect. They either need epoxy, they need to be they're warped.
But just on one of the strips.
Right.
Out of the 6 strips, just one of them has that issue.
Right. And had we had a third person going through and quality controlling all of the pieces of lumber going into the boards, it's too much mental effort to use the tool, sort through the wood pile, and create a high quality product.
Yeah.
It's too much. You need a third person there whose sole job is just to throw out the bad sticks of wood. That way, when you get to the glue up, you don't even have bad sticks in the pile.
Right, because of that one bad stick, we're potentially having to waste an entire board instead of just throwing 2 sticks away, 2 strips away right at the beginning.
Right, I had to throw 3 boards into the burn barrel. And I know that sounds terrible, and I know some of you woodworkers, your heart is broken hearing that. But
we just don't have 2 hours to repair these 2 boards.
It's going to take us 2 hours to fix the boards, and that's $60 worth of labor. I'm sorry, the board isn't worth $60 to save. It's
quite literally not.
It's quite literally not. It's only worth $10 in materials.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper for us to pitch it in the trash and build a new one than it is to try to save that one. That's the cost of running a business.
Trust me, it hurts me too. I don't like throwing them away. They're pretty. They're nice, but
yeah. Anyway, that's more business update than you probably wanted, but
yeah. We can get into some personal updates now. How's that?
Yeah, let's go.
Rock climbing is becoming more of a routine for us. So I know we've talked about it a few times on the podcast. We're we're rock climbing. We need an activity to do, especially when Eric was out here. It was a fun thing for all 3 of us to go do and stay active. It's not sitting on the couch and just binging Netflix. it's actually something physical, and it's exercise for your body and for your brain, because you have to like think ahead on what you're gonna do for your next foothold, your next handhold, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been fun, and we do that pretty much every morning now. It's like how we start our day.
It's great because we go in at 8:00 when they open, and we have the whole gym to ourselves. Well, there's kids now because it's the summer, but like we got the whole gym to ourselves. It's just, I don't know, it's so nice and peaceful. And before there were kids there, they would play like, I don't know, more of our style of music, like, I don't know, hard rock, heavy metal, maybe some hip hop. Like, I don't know. It was a much more, it wasn't the corporate soundtrack that they play in the evenings when all the kids were there. So it was just more fun. It was a lot of fun. We got to know some of the employees. So I don't know. It's just been more fun.
Yeah.
So
it's enjoyable. We really like it.
And we've also started going to the beach more often in our days off. Like maybe once a week or every 2 weeks, we try to get to the beach. Just to try and surf and just enjoy the sun, get some vitamin D,
especially because it's been like 95 degrees here. It's been 95 degrees, and then with the humidity, they say it feels like 107. Yeah, and that's been like every single day.
Yeah, welcome to Houston.
I know.
Well, we skipped this part. We were in Mississippi this time last year, so this is our first like early summer. This is our first summer here in Houston.
But on the bright side, our garage really does not get that hot. I know I say 107, and everybody's probably like, I can hear it now because I've heard all the comments. Insulate your shop. You need to insulate your garage. You need to do it today.
Guys, we don't own the house. We can't do that. I know.
But also, it's really not that bad. I am shocked at how cool the garage actually stays for being 107 degrees outside. And it's also like the way it's facing on the street, we don't get direct sunlight during the day. So it's not like it's just beating down on our garage and heating everything up. So I'm very thankful about that. But yeah, it's been toasty here.
Yeah. Sorry.
Taking notes?
Well,
over there?
I had an idea for a video and I didn't want to lose it. I wasn't going to remember it. So if anybody's watching on YouTube, that's what I'm doing. I'm writing down
the next video idea. Perfect. I like it.
To be continued.
Yeah.
So rock climbing is fun. Surfing is fun.
Speaking of YouTube, though, I feel like the short videos that we've been posting, I don't know. They're weird. I can't get a feel. I don't know the vibe of the YouTube shorts. If anybody's been watching them, YouTube is kind of incorporating like a feature like TikTok.
Yes, if you're not familiar, TikTok sort of like shook. It's the biggest social media shakeup since probably Snapchat.
Yeah.
It's a new platform. It's short format video content. That's basically all it is. It used to be like 15 to 30 seconds.
And now it's like a minute.
Well, now you get 3 minutes. Certain accounts get 3 minutes.
Oh, that's right.
Anyway, they're basically, they revolutionized. It's a new app that just like all the kids had to have. And now it's growing in popularity. Even though the old people hated it and everybody complained about it, guess what? You're all downloading it now because that's exactly what we do, is we complain about new things.
And then we finally just...
And then we realized it wasn't so terrible after all. So all the other social media platforms are experimenting with this. Instagram has Reels, if you've seen those videos. TikTok, of course, is TikTok, and YouTube has Shorts. It's just short format vertical video, and each platform has a different type of audience, right? So YouTube, people want educational content. So we're finding that YouTube Shorts, you got to have educational content. Whereas on TikTok, we're just trying to have fun.
And right, because that's what everybody goes to TikTok for.
Right. People want jokes. They want to play around. They want to, be entertained. Yeah. But on YouTube, they want to be educated. So we had one TikTok that did really great. But when we posted it to YouTube Shorts, everybody hated it. So, I don't know. It's just kind of silly. We're trying to see the landscape. I don't know. It seems like those videos are hurting us.
Yeah, we thought that they would be helpful. Like, hey, putting out, more content. Steve
Ramsey put out a video on his second channel talking about YouTube Shorts and stuff, which he's always done well. But he put out a video saying, sorry, my phone's ringing. He put out a video saying that YouTube Shorts helps you see newer people, new audiences, it gets your channel exposed to more people that didn't know about you beforehand. And that makes sense with the pigeonholing of the algorithm and everything. Again, this is a lot of inside baseball today. You're getting your money's worth out of this podcast. But we started it on YouTube, and it's not hurting us. It's just making the analytics all weird because they haven't divided up the short videos from the regular videos.
So our shorts get thrown in with like our normal weekly videos when it comes to analytics. So then when we want to go back and look at the rankings of videos, it's completely skewed.
Right. And we're trying to switch around titles and thumbnails in the first day of a video being posted to try and, maximize. Because it's so stupid. I hate that this is how it works, but this is the way that YouTube works. You gotta find a good title and thumbnail combination for people to click on your video. Otherwise, your subscribers won't see it unless you have notifications turned on for the channels you want to see every video. I'm a completionist. When I log into YouTube, I want to see every video from every creator, and I want to choose what I want to watch. YouTube doesn't want you to do that.
They want to choose for you.
They want you to stay on the app longer, so YouTube knows. Believe it or not, YouTube knows you better, and it knows what will keep you on the app longer. So it feeds you what you want based on what you've watched previously. So we got to play this title and thumbnail game. Otherwise, our subscribers who want to see our content are not going to see our content. So say all that to say, it's making the short videos are making the analytics page muddy. So I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see.
That's
how we move forward with the YouTube shorts.
I hope this is interesting. I hope we're not like boring the audience with
all of our
inside baseball stuff. Yeah. Anyway,
boringness.
But that's our weekly update. That's what's been plaguing us.
Yes.
That's what you signed up for.
This is what keeps us up at night.
All right, let's go to the title topic.
All right, so today we're talking about quit solving the puzzle. That's the title of the podcast. Quit solving the puzzle.
What do we mean by that, Jenny?
I know. Doesn't that sound confusing? Like, even coming from us, I feel like we're such like problem-solving people that when we say quit solving the puzzle...
And problem-causing people.
Yes, and problem-causing people. It is a vicious circle, and it is never-ending. Basically, we're saying by trying a bunch of pieces and finding the ones that fit by process of elimination. That's what we mean by solving a jigsaw puzzle. Like, that's how you solve a puzzle. You pick out all the best pieces, and you find the ones that fit by figuring out which ones don't fit, right?
Right. Well, so let's back up a little bit. So big picture, we are the kind of people, we want to understand the whole problem and solve it before we ever take action. That's what our jobs taught us to do in the military.
Yep.
That's what school teaches you to do. Like, it's ingrained in our brains to own the whole problem, understand it fully, and then pick the best solution and implement it. And that will kill you if you're trying to run a business or if you're trying to succeed in life. Like, I'm sorry, that's not how life works. Life rewards those who try the most stuff and go with what sticks. I mean, that's literally how, that's how the animal kingdom works, like survival of the fittest. Like, you just try stuff, see what works, and double down on what works.
Yeah.
But if you're slowing down, you're doing the scientific method, taking the slow process, there's a time and place for that. But if self-growth or, starting a business, that ain't it. Like, that ain't the process you need. So our whole goal with don't solve the puzzle is you're not trying to solve the whole puzzle. We're using the analogy of a jigsaw puzzle. You just try a bunch of pieces until something works, and then you build off of that and go to the next piece. It would be stupid for you to sit there and try to memorize the size, shape, color, and pattern of every piece in a jigsaw puzzle before you ever started connecting the edge pieces.
Right, because who does that, right? Who picks up every single piece in a 1,000-piece puzzle, analyzes it,
I know there's somebody out
logs
there.
The color, the shape, stares at it for 3 minutes before they even try to put it down in the spot. No, you're going to pick up this one. Does it fit? Nope. Next. Nope. Next. Nope. People even start with corner pieces because they know they're least likely to fail.
Take the low-hanging fruit. If you identify that something's going to be easier to solve, start with that and then build on it. So that's all we mean by don't solve the whole puzzle or don't solve the puzzle. Get out there and just start trying stuff and go with what works. Like rock climbing. We decided I'm just tie this in with what we talked about earlier so it doesn't sound as off topic. But with rock climbing, we knew that we needed to get out of the house. We knew that we needed exercise. And I thought that we could just come up with this whole exercise plan, schedule it 3 days a week, and go out to the little park next to our neighborhood, and that would solve it. But for the life of us, we could not get that plan to work. We were lazy, we were tired, we slept in, we didn't want to do it. But then all of a sudden, Jenny and I went rock climbing because we were trying to think of something to do with Eric. And all of a sudden, we really liked it.
Yeah.
So we tried something new on a whim, and now we don't even have to try to get up. I was really tired this morning, but I didn't even put up a fight because I like rock climbing. It's exciting. It's fun.
Right. We both kind of hop out of bed because, we're excited. I just think it's so funny that
and it solved our problem.
Of course we don't analyze every piece in a jigsaw puzzle. So why do we do that in life? Why don't we?
Because that's what we're taught to do from a very early young age, especially with us being scientists.
Yeah.
You get taught the scientific method. Hey, slow down. Write down everything you think you know and what you already understand. Make a guess and then go test it. And that scientific process, it works in the very micro of trying to solve a very specific issue. But if you're just trying to make a big life change, or you're trying to change careers or build a business, there's too many of those things. You're going to run out of time. You're going to die before you get to the bottom of all of it. So you've just got to try 1,000 things and go with what works. For us, is rock climbing. Is rock climbing the cheapest form of exercise for us? No, it costs us money. But it's something we can stick with.
Yeah, we've stuck with it for 2 months now.
Right. And like our health has benefited from it. We've got more energy throughout the day. We're happier to do the work that we need to do every day. So does it really cost us that much? Yeah, it costs us money. But like if we're more productive on the back end, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So it's a good investment in our health, and it's a good investment of our time. So again, we're just trying to say, like, just try 100 things. Like pick a category, I guess, if we're like going to do an example on the fly. Pick a category, right? If you want to read more, okay, great. Like you want to get better at reading. Don't start reading like Aristotle right off the bat. You're going to get bored. You're going to get tired. Even if your goal is to like read philosophy, don't start off in the deep end. Just try reading a ton of books in that genre. Start with like, I don't know, business books or self-help books or fiction books, whatever it is that's tangent to what you already do.
That will actually get you reading.
Right. And then once you've got hooked on the habit of reading, okay, now we can start to throw in a book a month on philosophy. And then slowly over time, you can step your game up to, I don't know, whatever the heck I've got on the bookshelf back here. Like,
yeah, I feel like there's also more room and like a higher margin for error in life than, we were saying, hey, if you're doing like the scientific method in an experiment and you kind of do have to solve the whole puzzle right up front and analyze every single piece. It's like, that's because you don't have much room for error. Like, you don't have time to screw up and you have to be very exact. But in life, like, you get do-overs. You get so many chances. You have years and years and years to try things. So why are you, wasting so much time and pretending like you have no margin for error when
Plus,
you do?
There's more than one solution. Rock climbing is not the only form of exercise that would have worked for us. It could have been surfing. It could have been, I don't know, like cycling. There's a bunch of different, like, sports to try out to get a healthier lifestyle. It's just we found rock climbing first and stuck with it. So we might as well just take that and move on. And
take the win.
Right. There are so many more solutions to your singular problem.
Yes.
But that's not how they teach you in school. In school, they teach you there's one correct answer to the one question. Like, I always hated the multiple choice. It's like, choose the best answer. It's like, well, what do you mean by best? Are you talking best short term, best long term? Are you talking about, best can change depending on the situation? Does best mean
it's exactly what the textbook said? Like,
I always hated those questions because, like, best is a subjective term based on your situation.
Yeah.
And I always fought the teacher on that because I'm just a stubborn butthole about it. But,
yes, you are.
Anyway.
And we've done this with a lot of things in life. It's not just like working out or it's not just, running a business, but like there have been other things like video editing. We've just thrown things at the wall and seen what sticks, trying different styles of videos, trying different thumbnails.
That's how we fell into the make money with woodworking niche, sub niche of YouTube. Is we just decided we were going to do the most outrageous clickbaity things that we possibly could do. And that video that were about you refinishing furniture just like popped off for us. And we're like, all right, I guess that's the content we're making now.
Yep.
Just conveniently, we were also running the woodworking business in the background. So like it all like merged. But had we not just thrown 1,000 ideas at the wall, we wouldn't have the YouTube channel we have right now.
Right.
So
we also did this with our charcuterie boards. We have done a few different designs with our boards before we landed on our final ones. We made 100 terrible ones, but we tried it. We're like, hey, what if we made unique designs for every single board?
I remember taking those comments like super personally. Because that was like the first step we made as a business. And I knew that we weren't going to sell those boards. I thought we might, but like, I just knew we needed to iterate. I didn't have the vocabulary to know that I was doing an iterative process, but like we made 100 serving boards. That was a whole series on YouTube, and everybody got mad at us because they're like, these look like crap. Like, you're never going to sell these. Like, you're not even going to get $50 for these. And now...
first off, au contraire, we could have sold those for... Value is in the eye of the receiver, but but that was our first time. That was an iterative process, like you said. That was our first shot.
But now we've got something that looks, I don't know, kind of similar. It's way faster than that old process was, and we can charge $125 for it now. So come at me.
Yep. So we got it refined, and now we have a product we like after just trying a few different things.
Same thing with selling them, like with the realtor strategy. Like, we did not know how to approach these realtors. We thought open houses, ?
And that worked. That got us a couple of sales.
And then we tried cold calls. And that got us nothing.
And then we
started just combining the two. We're like, all right, how can we combine cold calls with the open houses? And then we started cold mailing boards.
Yeah.
Boom, there we go.
And
Now
that
Jennie
worked.
has a 65% close rate with realtors that she mails a board to just out of the blue. So they get surprised, they like it, they get excited, and they make a purchase.
Yep.
So just more examples, and golf too. I've got this up here on the script, like golf. Like you can't learn, if any of you play golf, you can't learn a golf swing in a vacuum. It's too complicated. You just have to start hitting balls and then tweak your swing over time. No one is going to teach the perfect textbook golf swing and get you to hit it right the first time. You just have to start with something sloppy and then iterate over time.
Yep.
That's how golf works. And it gets to the point where, like, it doesn't even matter if you learn the textbook golf swing or not. I'm thinking of, like, Jim Furyk on the PGA Tour, if anybody knows who that is. Like, he's got a very unique golf swing that is very anti-textbook. But he's playing at the world-class level because he was able to produce results with an abnormal golf swing. So, again, just more evidence of the fact that, like, there's more than one way to do things. You just got to try 1,000 things, see what works, and go with it. Don't try to solve it up front because there is no one perfect answer.
And I feel like that's so frustrating because I'm like the type of person too that's like, well, if I'm going to put in the effort to do it, like I'm going to figure out the best way to do it before I do it so that I'm not wasting my time on doing it 13
Such a
times,
lie.
which is absolutely the opposite. Absolutely the opposite. So let's get into the action steps. What can people like physically do as of today to get better at this?
This week, first action step, allow yourself a fixed amount of time, a set amount of time to do your researching phase. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether you're trying to buy a book, whether you're trying to write something, whether you're trying to quit your job, whether you're trying to, I don't know, like grow a vegetable garden. Like whatever it is, severely limit the time you allow yourself in the research phase. Okay. And then this is only if you have the sickness that we have of like wanting to do too much research.
Yeah. If you're on the other side of things and you're willing to go try with like very, very, very minimal to no research, you might want to set yourself a timer and force yourself to research that whole time because you struggle like
there we go.
spending more than 5 minutes researching something before you try it. So either way, time yourself. It might be a forcing yourself to fill the entire 20 minutes or it might be forcing yourself to only go 20 minutes. So
right. And like you will, well, I was going to say, what kind of person you are, but like, that's not even true. We always think we're the opposite person. Like I remember Bob Claggett, I'm going to like throw Bob under the bus here, but like Bob Claggett in a couple of Making It episodes, he's like, I just don't do enough research. I should really just like research more. I'm like, Bob, you research. I'm like talking to Bob like I know him, but like I'm like, Bob, you do more research than both Jimmy and like David combined, and you're sitting here saying, I should do more research. Like, no, you just need to go try more things and you will learn faster through iteration. So anyway, everybody thinks they're upside down. That's one of the jokes of life.
Yes. So be very careful on which timing choice you choose.
And then your next action step kind of goes hand in hand with this one.
Yep. And that is then try your ideas even though you're not prepared.
Yep. I know you haven't done the research. I know you don't know what's going to happen. Start anyway.
And that's can be scary. If you're our personality type, or at least mine, like that's so scary. I'm like, but I don't have all the information yet. What if it fails? It's like, so what if it fails? Then just fix it next time. That person that you offer, that person you tried to sell to, if it flops, like they're not going to remember you. They're so busy. They're just going to go on with the rest of your day. Just try it with somebody else.
Yep. And you should be so busy throwing things at the wall that if somebody says no, you're a little bit relieved.
Because you're like, oh, thank goodness, now I can go to my next plan.
Because I didn't have time to handle if everybody said yes.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one. That should be a future episode.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
That's a really weird mental pivot when you get to the point where like with sales, this is a big thing in sales. Last thing and we're done. Like with sales, you get to the point where you realize like I should be putting out so many offers that I'm happy when somebody says no because I couldn't take all the offers if everybody said yes.
Maybe we should make a podcast that says like quit wanting to hear yes or like quit loving the word yes or something.
Interesting.
We shall see.
We might put it in the schedule.
Maybe we might. Anyways, all right. Thanks for listening, guys. Those are all our action steps and we'll catch you next week.